morning. Welcome to NATEFLIX, your home for movies on the radio. Brought to you every week by Go Video, Gainesville's last remaining video store for all the hot new releases. I'm your host, Nate Hensley, movie reviewer, columnist, writer for GoVideoGainesville.com.
Patrick Daniel, an aspiring filmmaker in Gainesville, Florida, a co-owner of Go Video.
Every week we always like to talk to you about all the hot new releases on DVD, which will be available at Go Video, and also movies at the theater. This week, the biggest new release at the theater, coming out Friday, is the highly anticipated sequel to Sherlock Holmes, called A Game of Shadows. Robert Downey Jr. is back reprising his role as Sherlock Holmes, a humorous, action-packed twist on the classic character created by Arthur Conan Doyle. He's rejoined by Jude Law as his partner, the inimitable Dr. Watson. And they do battle with Holmes's greatest nemesis, Professor Moriarty, who's played in the movie by an actor named Jared Harris. You may not know his name. I'm sure you've seen him in something. He's most notable recently for his TV work in both Mad Men and Fringe.
Also starring in the film is a newcomer named Noomi Rapace. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is her first American film. She became famous for her roles in the Swedish trilogy, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest.
I like to call it the Girl Who Did Things trilogy.
Yes. Now, it's based off of a very popular book series. It's a dark mystery novel series. Now it's native to Sweden, and the films were made in Sweden as well. They're done in Swedish. It was so popular that, of course, they're going to make an American remake,
which we will be discussing next week on this radio show.
That's right. So interesting that coincidence that a week from now there will be an American remake, and I think she's really counting on this movie being a success because. Without helping it, I think these two girls are going to be competing. The girl who plays her same character in the new Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, directed by David Fincher. I think this actress is going to be competing, with Noomi Rapace. And now that she's doing American films, which one is better? They both got famous from playing the same character very recently, back to back. They're both doing American films. This is going to be kind of a head start for her if Sherlock Holmes does well.
And I think it's actually a guarantee that Sherlock Holmes is going to do very well. The first movie was phenomenally successful at the box office and has really only gained momentum. It's been incredibly popular since its release on DVD and Blu-ray. There's a lot of excitement about this movie. It's probably going to be one of the, if not the biggest movie of the holiday season.
Well, Guy Ritchie is coming back to do a sequel. I think this is his first sequel to a movie he's ever done. This is also the Sherlock Holmes series is also the only series he did that he has not written. He's most famous for Snatch,
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels,
and Rock and Rolla.
Most recently, Rock and Rolla, and the end of that movie teases a sequel, which was delayed because of Sherlock Holmes. So hopefully he can knock out this Holmes sequel, which I'm hoping is fantastic, and then get back to a Rock and Roller sequel.
It's interesting that you think that it's going to be a success. It has a different writer, although the same director, different writer. The writer for Sherlock Holmes 2 has only written one other movie. It's called Paperman. It stars Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Daniels and Emma Stone. This movie did not do well, and this was the only other movie that this person wrote.
Well, that's all well and good, but Guy Ritchie, more than most directors, brings a very signature energy and stylistic flair to his movies. I don't remember who wrote the first Sherlock Holmes, but it still felt like a Guy Ritchie movie. It still had that energy. And let's not sell short the star power of Robert Downey Jr. He's the main reason so many people are psyched about not only this sequel, but another Iron Man sequel. Downey has been hot for a couple of years, and he seems like he's just as hot. The first movie, my favorite aspect of it was the chemistry, the interplay between him and Jude Law. I'm not a big Jude Law fan in general, but I loved the chemistry between him and Downey Jr. in the first Sherlock Holmes. It really made the movie something special. I think it's going to be a huge success its opening weekend, and it'll probably get good word of mouth. We will see how that pans out. Another major new sequel this week is Alvin and the Chipmunks Part 3, Chipwrecked, the continued story of the singing chipmunks.
This is definitely isn't something that I'm looking forward to too much.
Well, I'm looking forward to it less than you because you won't have to watch it. You don't have kids. I'm going to have to watch it. They're begging me to see it already. They've been begging me to see it for 3 weeks. So
tell me, what is the appeal of the Chipmunks? Not just for kids, but for adults. Why are people going to go see it? Why are
well, adults like me.
Time.
Well, adults like me are going to go because the kids drag them to it. I don't know of very many adults that are going to go see an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie on their own.
Yes, but some are going to be excited to go see it as opposed to most who won't be.
Yeah, diminished expectations from film, I suppose. They have a lot of music. They have a lot of slapstick comedy. They do have a lot of actual funny people in these movies. David Cross, who's a stand-up comedian who's been in some of the funniest TV shows in history, Arrested Development and Mr. Show. He's the recurring villain throughout all these movies. Jason Lee has been in all of them, and he'll be returning for this one. Although their voices are digitally distorted so that you can't recognize them, the Chipmunks and the Chimpettes. There are 3 girl chipmunks to go with the 3 boy chipmunks now. This doubles their marketing appeal. These are all played by famous, funny people. They're just indistinguishable. They could be anybody.
Interesting that they get so many big name actors in the adult world, to play in these children's movies to try to get adults more excited about seeing them. We'll talk about that more when we get to Kung Fu Panda 2. But I gotta tell you, the movie I'm most excited about seeing that's coming out in the theaters this week is called Carnage. It's written by a notorious wanted rapist, Roman Polanski. It's based off of a very highly acclaimed play called God of Carnage. It won Best Play at the Tonys in 2009. Another movie based on a play that I really loved was Doubt. There's an endless number of movies I really like based off of plays, and especially a really acclaimed one. I think this movie's going to do very well. Most critics who have seen it say that this is going to be a top contender at the Oscars this year. It's the movie itself is about 2 parents arguing with 2 parents about their 2 sons getting in a fight. Now, the whole movie takes place in the house of the parents who had a bullied son, and they invite the parents of the bully to come over. Now, there are only 4 people in the movie, as far as main characters go, and most of the film, if not the whole thing, takes place just in the house over this one dinner. I find this very interesting, especially that most people are saying that, this movie can be very exciting, to watch, even though it's just 4 people in the same setting for most of the story.
With that being the basis of the movie, it really comes down to, even more than the writing, the strength of these 4 characters. Now, the 4 actors in these roles are Christoph Waltz, most famous from Inglourious Basterds, Jodie Foster, Kate Winslet, and John C. Reilly, who has been doing a lot of comedies the last few years, working with Will Ferrell and the gang. And now he's got his hat back in the dramatic ring and in major fashion. They may not all 4 be dramatic heavy hitters, but they all 4 have different styles and approaches and different personalities that are going to come through on film. It will be, should be, and it has to be an interesting contrast, because for me, I love movies. An entire movie of 4 people in one room talking, that's a tough sell for me. Now, with this cast, it could really work.
I agree. All 4 of these actors are people who I'm a big fan of right now. Christoph Waltz and Kate Winslet both won Oscars recently.
Didn't Kate Winslet win for The Reader?
Yes, she did. The Reader is available at Go Video if you'd like to see it.
For about a year, I said that Kate Blanchett had won the Oscar for The Reader because I cannot keep the two straight for whatever reason. Even when I think of Winslet as the Titanic one, I still can't keep them straight in my head.
Well, she hasn't done a big movie since The Reader, so I'm pretty excited to see what she does with this because I think she's a pretty good actress. This is that same year she was really good in Revolutionary Road.
She was fantastic in Revolutionary Road.
John C. Reilly is interesting that he got more famous, doing comedy than anything else, and then he's finally going back to drama.
He came up as a dramatic actor,
yes,
and he did nothing but dramatic roles, but people didn't really sit up and notice him until Talladega Nights and Step Brothers.
Yeah.
And Walk Hard, and he's really insanely funny, but he's also a very good actor.
Yes, he is. So, and then Christoph Waltz was amazing as the villain in Inglourious Bastards, which was one of my favorite movies in the past 10 years. Inglourious Bastards also available for rent at Go Video if you ever want to see this performance before you want to compare it to Carnage. He hasn't really worked with any power directors since then. He got famous recently in a Quentin Tarantino film, and he's finally going with somebody who is an Oscar contender, Roman Polanski, who's despite what they say, is actually a great director.
Yeah, he is. He's made several classic movies. Most recently, and this was 10 years ago, my favorite Polanski movie of the last 10 or 20 years is The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. Very underrated movie. Also available at Go Video. And you can find out all sorts of information about Go Video. Check us out at govideogainesville.com. If you'd like to respond to anything we've said today on the show, send us an email at govideogainesville@gmail.com. Now, if you use Twitter, you can look me up at NATEFLIX. And if you're on Facebook, you can look us up at NATEFLIX or at Go Video.
We'd love to hear what you have to say or your thoughts about movies in general. Or if you have a topic that you want us to talk about, let us know. We're going to take a short break. Then we're going to come back and talk about the movies coming to DVD this week.
The new movie's out, I gotta see it. Where can I go when my pockets are tight? I don't wanna wait till it's delivered to my door, 'cause I know a place where I can get it tonight. Go, 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 video. You can get a movie for $1 a day, and only $2.50 for the new Blu-ray. Go, 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 video. And no memberships and no late fees, so you can watch your movie with incredible ease. Go, 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 video. Great selection and no more waiting. The only place to go in your current location.
Home to over 1,000 movies to choose from, Go Video is located in the Chevron on Millhopper and 43rd across from Publix on Hunter's Crossing. You can also visit our website at govideogainesville.com.